Venlo incident was a covert German operation on 9th of November 1939, in the course of which two British Secret Intelligence Service agents were captured 5 meters from the German border on the outskirts of a Dutch town of Venlo. After the British declaration of war on Nazi Germany on 3rd of September 1939, Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain was still interested in seeking a compromise peace with Germany before too much blood had been spilled. The British government was well aware of the existence of a widespread opposition among the leaders of the German army. All diplomatic efforts to avoid a Second World War in Europe during the days preceding the German invasion of Poland in September 1939 had come to nothing. So when a German refugee named Fischer succeeded in winning the confidence of the exiled Catholic leader Karl Spieker, a British intelligence informant in the Netherlands, the British Secret Intelligence Service, so the SIS, became interested in the information Fischer was offering. In early September 1939, a meeting was arranged between Fischer and the British SIS agent Captain Sigismund Payne Best. Best was an experienced British Army intelligence officer who worked under the cover of a businessman residing in The Hague with his Dutch wife. Subsequent meetings included Major Richard Henry Stevens, a less experienced intelligence operative who was also working covertly. To assist Best and Stevens in passing through the Dutch security zones near the border with Germany, a young Dutch officer, Lieutenant Dirk Klopp, was recruited by the chief of the Dutch military intelligence. Klopp was permitted to sit in on covert meetings but could not take part because of his country's neutrality. Fischer brought to the early meetings participants who were posing as German officers who supported a plot against Hitler and were interested in establishing Allied peace terms if Hitler was deposed. When Fischer's success in setting up the meeting with the British agents became known, Sturmbannführer Walter Schellenberg, so Major Walter Schellenberg of the Foreign Intelligence Section of the Sicherheitsdienst, began to attend these meetings. Acting as Hauptmann Schemel or Captain Schemel, Schellenberg was at the time a trusted operative of Heinrich Himmler, head of the SS. At the last meeting between the British SIS agents and the German SD officers on 8th of November, Schellenberg promised to bring a general to the meeting on the following day. Instead, the Germans brought the talks to an abrupt end with the kidnapping of Best and Stevens. Early on 9th of November 1939, Schellenberg received orders from Himmler to abduct the British SIS agents Best and Stevens. SS Sonderkommandos under the operational command of Alfred Naujoks carried out the orders. Best drove his car into the car park of the meeting planned with Schellenberg to a cafe. Steven was sitting beside him while Dirk Klopp and his driver went by another car. Before Best had time to get out of the car, Naujoks' SD men arrived. In a brief shootout, Klopp was mortally wounded. After being handcuffed and stood against a wall, Best and Stevens were put into the SD car. Klopp was put into Best's car and both cars were driven off over the border into Germany. After the incident, the Nazi press reported that the Gestapo had tricked the British Secret Service. The incident exposed the fact that Chamberlain's government was still seeking a deal with Germany while it was exhorting the nation to a supreme war effort. That outraged Churchill to the extent that he was against providing any support to German opposition to Hitler for the rest of the war. Hitler used the incident to claim that the Netherlands had violated its own neutrality. The presence of Klopp, a Dutch secret agent whose signature on his personal papers were misused by the Germans, provided sufficient proof of a cooperation between British and Dutch secret services and justify an invasion of the Netherlands by Germany in May 1940. After interrogation at the Gestapo's Prinz Albertstrasse headquarters in Berlin, Best and Stevens were sent to the Sachsenhausen concentration camp. Both were held in isolation in a building reserved for protected prisoners of the Gestapo. On 24th of April 1945, Best and Stevens left the camp, which was liberated by the advancing US Army. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and support my channel on PayPal. Details in the description box.